Hello and welcome to part 3 of the blockchain course. Today we're starting our exciting journey into the world of Ethereum, a project that's been around for several years now and that is massively transforming the world one step at a time. So this is going to be quite a quick tutorial just to introduce where it came from and what the general idea behind it is, and then we'll start diving more into things like smart contracts, blockchain projects, ICOs, and how Ethereum works and so on further down in this section. So let's have a look. Where did Ethereum come from? Ethereum is a project that was created by Vitalik Buterin, who is currently in 2018 only 24 years old. And when he created the project was in 2013, so that's 5 years ago. He was 19 years old when he came up with the idea. And we'll discuss this in a bit more detail, but in general, Vitalik wanted like a scripting language, a way to create programs for Bitcoin, and he didn't have the agreement from the community to do that, or nobody really wanted to create that scripting language. And we'll talk more about that down the track. And so he went along and created his own project, Ethereum, which has grown into a giant behemoth that it is now, and like most ICOs and most new blockchain projects are actually built on top of Ethereum. So having said that, Bitcoin and Ethereum are actually friends. And there's even an image like this. And why are they friends? Well, because they both exist in the protocol coin layer, and they have kind of different purposes. So the purpose of Bitcoin is to just create a cryptocurrency that will disrupt your banks and will allow us to trade or like transfer money borderless and permissionlessly. So Bitcoin exists here, and it doesn't really, it's not the intention is not to create a platform for others to create projects on top of it. Whereas in Ethereum, that's a whole design, that Ethereum is actually not designed as a cryptocurrency, it's designed as a platform for others to build on top of it, for others to create programs on top of it. And so let's go into that a bit more detail. What is this whole idea behind the protocol that is Ethereum? So the main underlying idea is that we are all interconnected. There we are. We have internet which connects people together and so on. So how about we build a blockchain, and we'll talk about what these smart contracts are in a bit more detail further down the track. But we build a blockchain that not only allows us to store transactional data, but it actually allows us to store programs that facilitates the execution of programs, and that way we can decentralize any application that we build. And how are we going to decentralize it? Where are we going to run it? Well, we're going to run it on the computers of the people that are part of that blockchain. So what if we could, instead of like launching an application, for instance, like Facebook on a server, and then everybody having to go to that server and communicate with it and store their data there, what if we could run Facebook on everybody's computer at the same time? And like not Facebook, but like the alternative to Facebook. That way it's completely decentralized. So the idea here, and we'll talk about this in more detail throughout this section, but the core idea here is to build a world supercomputer in a distributed manner and use blockchain to facilitate that. So the world supercomputer won't be like in one location or one very strong computer or one very parallelized computer. No, it'll be all of our laptops connected together, working to execute apps and programs and do things in this environment, and all of that will be facilitated through blockchain, where the programs will be described, where all of the transactions will be stored, where any changes will be recorded, and they will be in an immutable manner. And a copy of that blockchain will of course reside on every single computer as well. So everybody will have a copy of that blockchain, as we discussed before. So that's the idea. The idea with Ethereum is actually to create like the world's biggest supercomputer that will be able to decentralize any application. If you want to build a decentralized application, just go to Ethereum and you build it on top of that. And so the infrastructure is already there. That is how Ethereum is shaping and transforming the world. So there's a quick taste for what is coming ahead. So you can see it's a very different project, even though it also uses blockchain, it's very different to Bitcoin. and this is where all the development work comes in. This is where we are able to create programs and so on. And finally, we've gotten to this stage. It was necessary for us to go through parts 1 and 2 to understand everything, how everything works in blockchain. Finally, we're here. We're going to dive further into this in the coming tutorials. Very excited about that. And in the meantime, if you'd like to get some additional information on Ethereum, an article I can recommend is called "What is Ethereum? The Ultimate Beginner's Guide" by Alex Moskov. It's located on Coin Central. So there we go. That's what Ethereum is in a nutshell, a new world supercomputer. And can't wait to dive straight into it in the following tutorials. And until next time, enjoy blockchains.